Hello fellow Star Wars fans, it is Starrapter here and welcome back to the channel. We have 3 Star Wars comics to talk about for the week of February 9th. Getting started in Marvel, we have Darth Vader, issue number 20, Queen's Shadow returns, and this one is all about the Crimson Reign. This ties into that. We have Sabe, who is the handmaiden of Padme. Well, she's still around during this time post-Empire Strikes Back, and she really wants to get revenge on Darth Vader, so she goes to Polis Massa and finds out all this information about Darth Vader, about what he's wanting from Padme, and apparently Padme didn't really let anybody know that she had offspring, one of them being Luke. So we have Sabe getting all this information about the character of Darth Vader, getting the motivations down. She finds out that he's at a war with Crimson Dawn, which is why she becomes a Crimson Dawn agent so she can better track Darth Vader. So we also have her interacting, putting a chip of false information for Vader to hunt down these Imperial Crimson Dawn agents. And well, she feeds him a bunch of false information, so he goes around, he's killing all these officers and doesn't realize that they're fakes. They're not actually Crimson Dawn agents. So yeah, there's a lot of massacring, a lot of bloodthirstiness going through there. And the next thing you know, Sabe reveals herself to Ochi of Bassoon, who we know is an agent of the Crimson Dawn, so, as well as Sly Moore, and says, "I'm in charge now." And that's really where the issue ends up. But I thought this was pretty cool because, again, it's connecting those ties to the prequels with the character of Sabe with Darth Vader, and lots of just brutality coming from Darth Vader. You get to see some violent Valence in there. It wasn't there a lot, but he was in there a little bit, so that was pretty cool. All right, so getting into the High Republic, this is issue number 5, the last issue for the miniseries Trail of Shadows. This is called Dust, and we are arriving on Starlight Beacon. Remember, we have Emmerich, we have Sion. Their whole mission in this entire miniseries is to go ahead and track down this leveler technology. So they quickly find out when they get on Starlight Beacon that these creatures, thanks to the little Sidrophon scientists there, saying that they're called Shikara, or people call them Eaters of the Force, or the Nameless, and the Eye of the Nile, Mark-Yan Ro, has a device which is the only thing that can actually control these things. So they get to the station, they are met by Court and Buckets of Blood, Torben Beck, and they go around the station and they find out one of these creatures is there, and Emmerich is able to somehow channel the Force to prepare himself to basically not go crazy around this thing, because it puts his images of things that you hate and different things in your mind that will make Jedi go crazy. It attacks the Force, but he is able to use his saber to actually cut off part of its hand, and basically is going to retrieve that as Starlight Beacon is crashing down around them. Remember, the Nihil are attacking at this point. He is able to get the evidence he needs. He gets the blood, he gets the hand, he gets off there. Torben Buck apparently kind of holds out against all the Nihil and everything to help out with the people, and goes down with the ship, although Court and a bunch of younglings get off. And that's kind of where this series ends, is we have Emmerich, who has the evidence. The whole point of view is going through there, but we still don't know exactly what these creatures look like 100%. We get a glimpse of them, but not entirely everything. Some cool things I noticed about this issue is we find out that Cord is actually a knight now. Remember, we seen this guy in the High Republic Adventures comics, and it's cool to just see him now there as a knight. So there you go. This was a pretty solid series, but I think it could have done better if it had maybe 1 or 2 issues, because it did feel like it got rushed towards the last 2 issues that we had. And the final issue we're talking about is literally the final issue for Star Wars Adventures under the IDW imprint. And we have 2 stories in this one. It's called Repair Stop Part 2, as well as a very Nihil interlude. So getting into Repair Stop Part 2, this one is in between The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, where we have Rey, we have Chewie, we have Finn. They are transporting a smuggler named Mobin, and they get onto this planet trying to get supplies. The next thing you know, this guy gets held up hostage by this different bounty hunter. So they outwit the bounty hunter. Rey is able to outwit him. And turns out that they get onto the Lambda class shuttle that this guy pertains to ride, and they get the part they need to actually get back on the Falcon to get out of there. And in doing so, they save Mobin. And that's really the whole gist of the story. And it was cool because Rathgar Deng is mentioned, who apparently we think is Dengar. So there's more evidence, because There's a link to Dengar as well, and his Hutts are mentioned, so it's pretty cool. Sequel trilogy has more Hutts. We know we have that Frankie character from Star Wars Resistance. So all in all, this was just a fine story, nothing groundbreaking here. We also had another story by Justina Ireland, part of the High Republic Architects, and that was a very Nihil interlude in which we have one of the characters of the Nihil, Lompop, Deva Lompop. She's this interesting species that can expand her jaw and it's very threatening, almost like a snake type of species, new to Star Wars. And she's basically, the whole story with this one is she gets involved with this one character, involved in terms of helping out this one girl that's being bullied. And she says basically her whole comeback is, oh, if you're getting bullied, bully them harder, kind of thing. So they set up this whole trap in this garden where Deva Lompop basically scares living daylights out of these guys when she like expands her jaw and tries to scare the heck out of them. So I thought that was pretty neat there. And then at the end of this issue, apparently this little girl thinks that the Nihil are great people as they are burning people alive. So this one's basically all about perspective, if you ask me. Like there's going to be people that follow the Empire. There's going to be people that follow the Rebellion. It just depends on how you're brought up, really, is your perspective and your mindset on what is actually happening. So there you go. That was the final issue of Star Wars Adventures, issue number 14 for the IDW series. We still have the High Republic Adventures, issue number 14, I think, to carry through the last issue of Star Wars with IDW. But as far as talking about Star Wars Adventures, issue number 14 and all the previous issues, it was fine, right? This is all ages, so you're not going to get that epic storytelling that you would get in the High Republic Adventures for the most part, because Star Wars Adventures was that outlet where we're getting different characters all over the Star Wars galaxy, which I enjoyed, but they just didn't really resonate with me on a level that I really enjoy the Marvel comics, and that's to be expected, of course, because the age range. I do think it's kind of weird that they didn't leave off the Star Wars Adventures issue number 14 with stories that were a little bit more groundbreaking or a little bit more meta with saying goodbye and stuff like that to the series. But we're going to see what the heck Dark Horse does next with the Star Wars comics in the more younger audience range. So there you have it. Those were the comics that came out for February 9th, 2022. What'd you think about these comics? Which ones did you pick up? Let me know in the comment section down below. For more on Star Wars, I have been talking a lot about the Book of Boba Fett. I have a lot of breakout videos, discussion videos. Make sure you go ahead and check those out and let me know what you think about those videos. And go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon so you'll be notified when future videos go live. That is going to do it for me, Starrapter. Thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you always. Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also include 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Starrapter.